Alright, so it's the next day. Was at it all day yesterday, trying to get the steering rack out. I'm pretty close, but I did run into a bit of a problem, and I'll show you that in a minute. Just show you what I've taken off so far, and what I've done so far, and the problem I'm having. I'll show you all that right now. So we're trying to take this control arm off. I literally banged it one more time with the hammer and it popped right out right after I stopped the video. So far we're gonna go underneath the car, but on this side of the car, all the way down here, you have this power steering line, and that's where I'm having the problem. Is, you know, down here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try and zoom in. But right down there, you got those two lines. I've actually stripped the one line to where it will not budge. It won't turn. It won't do anything. The other line is, I'm having the same problem with that. So what I am going to do is either cut the line or disconnect from here and hope that it slides out with the steering rack. If not, then I'm just gonna have to cut it. Let me show you underneath the car all the bolts that I took off. Alright, so here underneath the car, these bolts right here holding the rack in right now. Those are the only two bolts holding it in right now. I have taken off this little bracket, which is the the steering rack bracket. There was, what, 5 bolts, I believe. They weren't too tough, they weren't too bad. And then you also have, if I can see it, let me see where I'm at here. Right under here, you have a bracket, which, as you can see, I already took that off. That bracket is right here on the ground. Just 2 bolts, pretty easy, and now the steering rack is able to move around. I had to put these bolts back in order to try and get the power line, the pressure lines off from the steering pump. And I cannot get them off. They are just on there. This is not the only car today that I've tried working on. I also used PB Blaster on the bolts. I went out and bought flare tools. Bought a pair of vice grips. Did everything I could to try and turn those nuts, and they are not budging. So under here we have that hose right there, which is already loose. I just gotta pull it out, and then I got that rubber bushing there I gotta pop off, and it's gonna end up coming off with the steering rack. As soon as I have the steering rack out, that's when I will take those lines off, and put them on the new rack, and hopefully this thing will all fit back in there. I've never done this before, so I'm learning as I go. I'm also going to have to take these bolts out, which, as you can see, I've already loosened. One of them broke. I mean, I sprayed them with PB Blaster a few times, turned them a little bit, just did everything I could to not break them. Luckily, I got those 2 off. So that is going to pop down, and then this whole steering rack should come down, hopefully with everything with it. Otherwise, like I said, I'm gonna have to cut that line, and I'm not looking forward to doing that. If I do gotta cut it, I've already ordered a new line. It's on its way, and that's that. I also ordered thermostat housing, thermostat, all that, the doorman, pretty much the whole thing, just so I can replace that just in case, because it looks a little cruddy from underneath here. So, and that's that. Alright, stay tuned for part 3, and I'll let you know how I did. See you guys later.